Hey everybody, it's Jay Ball, Blue Jays Outdoors, coming at you with another super early episode to the 2021 maple syrup season. I got up at 3 o'clock this morning, started collecting sap. I've got a 5 o'clock meeting, so actually what I'm doing is I'm going to RO the sap that came from yesterday. I think we maybe have about 55 to 60 gallons. But yeah, a day like today is really going to show me the benefit of having the RO, because I'm not going to be able to boil until later tonight, but I can be ROing sap throughout the day. So really excited to get this RO fired up and start ROing some maple sap. So yeah, hang out with me today. We're going to do this morning, and then tonight we're going to do our second boil for the season. So stay tuned. All right, RO's on. Let's start processing some sap. There comes the permeate water. 150. 88 miles an hour. Getting there. 195. There we go. Guys, it's 4:30 in the morning. We are already ROing water. This is awesome. I love this thing. So I just checked the sugar. We're at about 2.25% sugar. And yeah, I'm hoping I can maybe get this concentrated down into 130 gallon barrel of sap. So we'll see how it goes. So far the system's been pretty efficient. I still do have that 15 gallons of sap that we RO'd during the last episode, where you guys saw me actually kind of do a full overview of the next gen maple RO system. So yeah, hopefully we can get this down to about 30 gallons. That'll give us 45 gallons of sap. That'll probably give us about a 2.5, maybe 3 hour boil tonight. So looking forward to getting another boil in. Hopefully we can make some syrup tonight. So yeah, we'll just keep doing this for the next, I don't know, hour or two, and we'll boil this afternoon. So yeah, we'll stick with it. You stay with me, I appreciate it. So we just hit the 2 hour and 30 minute mark, and you can see we've got our 64 gallons down to about 30 gallons of high concentration sap. Here's the permeate water. I did have to stop and clean the system, which I knew I was going to have to. So let's try to get a sugar content reading. So we should be at 0 with the refractometer. 0, no sugar reading. Okay. Now let's see what the sugar content is. Just under 6. Let's see if I can show this to you. There, just under 6. So we took 2.5% or 2.25% sugar, 64 gallons down to 30 gallons. Is just under 6 in about 2 hours and 30 minutes. So I'm going to let this run just a little bit longer, try to get the sugar content up to a 6, and then we'll call it good. And then we're going to start boiling tonight. So stay tuned, because you guys are actually going to see hopefully the first batch of Blue Jays maple syrup for the 2021 season. Kind of like a squirrel, huh? Yes, I bury my sap. Some of you are probably wondering what you just saw. Well, this is the sap that ran Saturday night into Sunday, and then I RO'd this on Monday, and now it's Thursday. So to keep it fresh, I actually buried it in the snow pile, and it did freeze. I'll show you guys, or it's really, really slushy. But sap doesn't last forever. Depending on the temperature, it could only last a day or two. Later in the season, as the bacteria builds up, just naturally occurs in the sap in the trees and the buckets, the sap can go bad really quickly. So the longer you let it sit, it'll get this cloudy, kind of creamy and milky feel to it. Once it gets really creamy and milky, it's actually gone bad. So I try to save this sap, one, because it's high concentration, but two, because it could be a short season. So let me show you what this stuff looks like. We're going to put that in the pre-warm pan, and guys, we're going to fry the evaporator up and hopefully make our very first batch of golden delicate Blue Jays maple syrup. Super excited. Stay tuned. There it is. There is the sap that has been out of the trees since Saturday afternoon, Sunday, that I RO'd on Monday. So because the temperatures were so cold, it actually froze. I'm totally fine with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scoop as much as I can of this into my pre-warm pan. You can see the color is really light. This is going to be a really good batch of Golden Delicate syrup. So let me get the pre-warm pan full of sap. Firebox is loaded. Let's torch this thing up and let's make some maple syrup, guys. You have been waiting long enough for this, and so have I. So let's do this. Let's make some maple syrup right now. I'm not sure if I explained this well enough during the first boil because I was trying to do a live stream, and I will do a live stream a little bit later, but I want to explain to you how this 3-channel flat pan works. So again, cold sap. Okay, this is what maple syrup looks like before we boil it. Okay, it's water with originally 2% sugar. Now this has got, I think, about 6.25% sugar. Okay, so this pre-warm pan feeds into this float box. Okay, as we evaporate the steam, the water, and the level goes down, this float box, like you guys can hear and see, lets more sap in. Okay, the change in density from the lower sugar concentration in the back actually pushes the higher concentration syrup or maple sap through that little hole there. It goes around the corner, there's another hole back there, and then it feeds all the way up to here. So once maple syrup gets to like 219 degrees, I think is what it is, and it gets to 65 bricks, I'll show you guys how I measure that with a hydrometer. That's when I start to draw it off right here. So again, the change in density from the lower sugar content to the higher sugar content pushes the syrup through the system. Okay, if I stop feeding sap in the back, it'll actually level itself out. So that's the way that this continuously works, is a continuous feed. So that's why it's important to keep the pre-warm pan full. You don't want to get the level too low. Like I said, we've got about just under 2.5 inches when this thing gets boiling. It's right at about 2.25, 2.125. So yeah, let's get this thing fired up, and then while it's warming up, I'll actually show you guys the hydrometer and how I actually measure the concentration of the syrup and when I know to pull it off. All right, she's lit. Let's make some syrup. Okay, so the fire's going. So here's the chart that I use, and this is the Vermont grade of syrup. So we measure the syrup concentration by bricks, so you can see at 209, between 209 and 211 degrees. If it reads 59 bricks, that is considered Vermont grade syrup. So what we have is this hydrometer. Okay, so you put syrup in this cup, and the cup will start to float as you get a higher density. So you can see right here, this red line, this 59 bricks, that is considered syrup. So I actually draw mine off a little bit before then, because as it steams, you lose moisture. When it's cold, it needs to be at, I think it's 60, what is it, at room temperature, it's 66.9 bricks. So when it's cold, you can see at 60 degrees, this is the level that it needs to be. So as the density and the temperature changes, this hydrometer actually floats. So you guys actually see me measure the syrup multiple times, but once it starts to float, I can actually push this down. You guys can hear it. So that's how we measure the concentration of this syrup, and that's when we know when to pull it out. Something else I want to show you guys, I really like to build these log cabin kind of fires, so you can see how hot that already is. A lot of space in there, a lot of air. That's why I actually throw the wood and stack it the way I stack it inside the firebox, so that it has lots of room to breathe. If I just throw that stuff in there like it's stacked in the wood pile, it can't breathe. So there's a method to the madness as even how I throw the wood in the fire. I know it sounds crazy, but this is just the way that I found to make this thing burn as hot as possible. Okay, so we just passed the hour mark, and as you guys can see, this thing is just absolutely rolling. We already went through 15 gallons of sap, and look at how hot this thing is, guys. This is just unreal. Check this out. That is crazy. So yeah, I really hope the float box can keep up. I don't think I've ever boiled this fast. I think having a consistent 2 inches of sap and syrup in the pan is what's making this thing boil so hot. So stick with me, guys. If this thing burns to the ground, you guys are going to see it. I'm not going to keep it from you, so hang on tight. 100% transparency, I'm nervous right now. Let me show you guys why. So I just put the last of the pre-warm sap in. Look at that's 3/4 inch thick plate steel. We're getting really close to syrup as far as temperature goes, but that's all the sap I have left, and that's not going to last long. So I'm really nervous right now. I mean, this thing is just absolutely cranking. Look at that. I'm nervous. This float box is working great, but it's kind of scaring me. I don't know if it's going to be able to keep up. So this first draw is always nerve-wracking. I might not actually make syrup tonight because I don't have enough sap. I'm out. That's it. So hang tight. I can't do it. I gotta shut it down. If I start making syrup, I don't have enough sap to push through the system, not burn the pan. I gotta stop. Okay, so we shut the boil down, but I want to show you guys so you can see it's really looking like syrup. And I wanted to show you, remember I told you about how the sap flows? You actually can see where it's getting pushed through that little hole right there. You can see how it's just coming around right there. So yeah, guys, we had to kill the boil. I mean, look at the pre-worm pan is almost empty, and there's just no way I could have drawn syrup off. So I'm gonna let this cool off a little bit longer, and then I'm gonna just kind of give you guys a breakdown of why I did what I did and why I was so nervous. Because again, I want to be completely transparent with you, and I want you guys to understand things to be mindful of and to be looking for if you're looking at getting an evaporator like this. You don't want to burn it. You don't want to burn your pan. You don't want to burn your syrup. It takes a lot of work just to get to this point in the year. So I want you guys to learn from my mistakes. So hang tight. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is something that I was not aware of when I first bought my evaporator, but I'm in the process now of sweetening the pan. Okay, so what that means is I have to get this whole front column almost to syrup before I can actually draw syrup off, because again, cold sap comes in the back and works its way through the system. Okay, typically it takes about 200 gallons of sap. I'm just not there yet, so I'm probably going to make syrup the next boil, but that's one of the reasons why I stopped boiling, is because I have to push this whole column of syrup forward and have enough liquid or enough sap in the pre-warm pan to keep the level while I'm evaporating, but then it's also going to increase because I'm drawing that much syrup off. So I could draw off a gallon of syrup, 2 gallons of syrup. Well, I got to have at least 2 gallons of sap in here to counteract what I'm taking off, plus what I'm steaming off. So that's really the main reason why I stopped boiling, is because I just did not have enough sap, and if I was going to make syrup, I was going to run it too close. And if you burn this pan, if you scorch your pan because you let the syrup get too low, you're done. The pan is scrapped and your season's over with, because trying to get a pan right now in the middle of the season is almost impossible. So I hope I explained to you guys well enough, you know, what happened tonight. I was really nervous again. I had the evaporator, probably the hottest I've ever had it. I got to crunch some numbers, but that was probably one of the fastest boils I've ever done. And when you can get 3/4 inch plate steel gold or cherry red, it's a hot fire. And, you know, just to wrap up, I do get asked often, you know, Jay, is making your own maple syrup really worth it? And I can tell you, when you get your first shot of Golden Delicate straight out of the evaporator, it definitely makes all the work worthwhile. So I really do appreciate you guys hanging out with me during this video. You got to see me RO the sap and then put the sap in the evaporator and boil. We didn't get to fully make syrup. This isn't to the bricks or the density like I told you, but it's really close. So next video, we should have our first full batch of Golden Delicate maple syrup for the 2021 season. So again, thank you so much for following along with me today. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Again, new video every night, guys, 6 o'clock, just for you. There's gonna be a new video throughout the entire Blue Jays maple syrup season. Also, for daily updates, make sure you follow me on Instagram. That's blue_j_maple_syrup. Again, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all you guys' support. And remember, the easiest way to change your attitude is by showing gratitude or taking a shot of Golden Delicate Blue Jays maple syrup. I'll see you guys next time.